So today we're going to be working on our color wheel eyes. And before we get that started, we need to start with our base shape of the eye itself. And let's get to drawing that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to trace it with the black permanent marker. And then we'll work on our painting of the color inside. So the first thing, as always, is we're going to write our name. So I would write Mrs. Holland. And then you need to write your teacher code. So 4th grade, and then you'll write your teacher code. Once you're done, flip over the paper. And we're going to be working with it in the horizontal landscape view. So with your paper, you have a pencil. And at your table, you have little plates, and these are going to be your tracers. So before we do that, the first thing is I want you to fold your paper hot dog style as best as you can, and then open it back up. Now, using the paper plate, I have it where I flipped it upside down, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just try to, as I say, eyeball it and see what looks more in the middle here of the paper. And then I'm going to trace around. Remember, draw light until you get it right. That way it's easier to erase. Perfect. Once this is drawn, now I'm going to make a little dot in the corner here on the crease as well as here. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw the shape of the eye itself. So meeting near the top, I'm going to just draw an arc and meet it to that corner. And same thing on the other one. Once you have the top arc done, you're going to do the bottom one as well. It's easier starting from one corner and meeting to the middle by doing those arcs. And if it doesn't match perfectly, that's fine. Nobody's eyes are the same. All right. So now that we've got the basic shape of our eye, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our pupil. And our pupil is where we bring, it sees the light all around us and sends those messages to our brain. So we want to draw the pupil, a circle, a smaller circle. And because eyes are wet, let's add a little shine, or shiny as they call it, in there. Almost looks like an exclamation mark. And then I want to add a shiny part to one of the sides of my eyes too. So I'm going to do another arc and just kind of make it thicker, like such. Good. Now eyes have an upper eyelid and a bottom eyelid. So we're going to draw an upper eyelid. And then we're going to draw the lower eyelid. Now the lower one seems to be a little bit closer, and it kind of curves off into the eye itself. You make it however you want. It does not need to be perfect. Once you have your eyelids, now we're going to start adding in eyelashes. Everybody has eyelashes. In fact, they help protect your eye from dust and dirt getting in there. So when you draw them, just try to draw an arc where I touch more inside, and then I just quickly do a line. And it gives a nice little curve. You don't have to have a lot. You can have a bunch if you want, or you could just have a few. You can look at somebody near you and just see how their eyelashes are. Top ones generally are longer. They all kind of curve a little bit. And there's our general part of our eye. So the next step, once you have this done, is you're going to color or trace using the permanent marker. So at your tables, just like you always do, you're going to take out your permanent marker and you're going to trace all of these lines. Before we start dividing up the inside eye part here for our color wheel, a good step is, just like we did in our op art with our shading that we did to make the illusion, let's add some shading and value to our eye so that way it pops. So usually, typically inside the eye, you're going to have some darker shading closer to the side of the eye and up a little bit more here. And we're going to go over that with paint later, so you don't have to have it too dark. So just add some shading in some areas for yourself. More on the lower lid, a little bit on the top up here. Kind of remembering in our dragon eyes how we went and did that to make it pop a little bit more. So very lightly, just adding some shading. Make our eyes stand out a little bit more. Just like that. So just add in a little bit of shading. For this next step, you're going to need a ruler because we need to break our color wheel into 8 to 12 equal pieces. And for this process, I'm going to have us try to do 12 because I want you to be able to mix all the tertiary colors or intermediate colors. So we know our primary and we know our secondary colors. The tertiary colors or when you mix a primary and a secondary and make like a red-orange or a yellow-orange. So that's what we're going to do here. The first thing we want to do is on that line that we created with the crease, let's just draw a line because that's how we balanced it in the middle. And we'll do our first line right across. Next, you're going to figure out where the center is. And again, don't worry if it's not exact. And you're going to draw a line, skipping your dot, your pupil in the middle, otherwise you'll end up with shiny silver. So right now we have 4. And then we're going to break this again in half. Okay, and then I'm going to break it in half again. Perfect. So don't worry if they're not exact. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.